All right, for our next work here in section 4.3, we're going to be looking at multiplication and division of complex numbers, which is a topic we've already discussed, but now we're going to be looking at it through a different lens. This time we're going to be looking at it through this trigonometric form idea for complex numbers that we discussed in the last lecture. So things are going to be just a little bit different. To go ahead and get started, let's talk about just the idea in general. When it comes to dealing with multiplication and division of complex numbers in trigonometric form, we're going to go ahead and give ourselves two arbitrary ones to start with. So we have z sub 1 is r sub 1 times the quantity cosine theta sub 1 plus I sine of theta sub 1. So that's just our first complex number. Z sub 2 does the same thing, just change all the subscripts to 2. The product of those two then, through, again, just some basic arithmetic here, since we have this r sub 1 and r sub 2 that are being multiplied to each of these two quantities, they can essentially be, through the use of our associative and commutative properties, brought out to the front. So we see r sub 1 times r sub 2 out in front of the product here. As for the other two parts, this is a bit more complicated. We're going to have to distribute twice here. This cosine of theta sub 1 is going to be distributed to both of these parts, and I sine of theta sub 1 is going to be distributed to both of these parts as well. When all is said and done, it looks a little bit messy. This is actually two lines here for what happens next. Cosine theta sub 1 times cosine theta sub 2, that's the first part. They've gone ahead and simplified the product of I sine of theta sub 1 with I sine of theta sub 2, because these will each have an I, it becomes I squared, so negative 1. So negative 1 sine of theta sub 1, sine of theta sub 2. This is the real part. These have no imaginary units. The two that will have imaginary units are cosine theta sub 1 times I sine theta sub 2, I sine of theta sub 1 times cosine theta sub 2. So putting them together, we have this here. But what you should note about these is that these are things we've already seen. I've seen this cosine alpha times cosine beta minus sine alpha sine beta. This has a different form. Same thing here. Sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta also has a different form. So if we apply our sum and difference formulas, these actually work out quite nicely. This turns into cosine of theta sub 1 plus theta sub 2, and I sine theta sub 1 plus theta sub 2. This actually is kind of nice to us because it comes to us basically in the form that we would want it, a real part and an imaginary part, with cosine and sine respectively. So it actually works great with our complex plane as well. So this gives us a standard definition for multiplying two complex numbers in trigonometric form. We multiply their moduli, in this case r sub 1 and r sub 2, and we add their arguments together. So theta sub 1 plus theta sub 2, take cosine of that. Sine of theta sub 1 plus theta sub 2, that's your imaginary part. If you wanted to instead take the quotient, then you simply apply the sum and difference rules again, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. We get r sub 1 divided by r sub 2 up front, so the quotient of their moduli. And as for the arguments of the cosine and sine, it's just switching from addition to subtraction. It's still theta sub 1 minus theta sub 2, theta sub 1 minus theta sub 2 in cosine and sine respectively. So in a weird way, this, while it might seem complicated at first, is actually really, really easy for us to work with, and it's fairly straightforward to memorize as well. When we're multiplying, multiply the moduli, add the arguments. When we want to divide, divide the moduli, subtract the arguments. Our arguments are always going to be one step behind what our moduli are doing, and our moduli always behave as normal. So these are some great definitions to work with. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at an example here to kind of see how this plays out in the real. Let's pop over to the notepad here. This is a little bit later on in the notes, so I'm just going to be borrowing from these. We have two different values. Need to change my tool here. We have z sub 1 is given as 2 times cosine 120 degrees plus I sine of 120 degrees. 120 plus I sine of 120. This is our first complex number. Our second complex number is 8, and this time our angle is 330 degrees. You may or may not have noticed this, but the way in which we describe our complex numbers in this form pretty well mirrors what we did with vectors as well, where we could separate it out into magnitude and then an angle theta being all we needed to describe the vector. Same thing for complex numbers. You have a magnitude and an angle that perfectly describes your complex number. All right, with that little anecdote out of the way, let's go ahead and look at the product. Z sub 1 times Z sub 2. We'll take the product of the moduli out front, so this will be 2 times 8. And then we're going to be distributing that to two different values. We'll have the cosine of 120 plus 330. Since in this case we are multiplying, we're going to add the arguments. And for the imaginary part, this is going to be sine of the same sum. 120 plus 330. All right, we'll have 16 out front. Underneath these in the arguments, we're going to have cosine of 450 degrees, which is not super helpful because that's not one that I'm familiar with. Well, I can go ahead and use coterminal angles. I'm going to subtract 360 degrees to get something else that's a little bit easier. That'll give us 90 degrees. So this is cosine of 90 degrees plus I sine of 90 degrees. We actually can evaluate this. Cosine of 90 is 0, sine of 90 is 1. So we end up doing 16 times 0 plus 16 times I, which gives us our final answer as just 16I. Nothing too crazy, all things considered. But again, this is one of those where I would recommend breaking it up into smaller parts to make it a little bit easier to work with. Now that we've done an example using a product, let's use an example with a quotient. So this time we're going to have two new examples here for our complex numbers. Our first one, z sub 1, this is 24 times the cosine of 5 pi over 3 plus I sine of 5 pi over 3. Same thing. Magnitude and angle. All right, and z sub 2, we have a magnitude of 8 and an angle theta of 5 pi over 12. All right, so to find the quotient, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we put things in the proper order here. It's going to be very different if we do z sub 2 divided by z sub 1 than the other way around. In this case, the example that we want from the slides is z sub 1 divided by z sub 2. We'll look at the quotient of their moduli out front. So this will be 24 divided by 8. And we're subtracting their arguments on the inside. Keep in mind that's still separated out into cosine and sine. Make sure you pay attention here to the order. The way in which you're doing this is you're taking the argument from the first complex number and you're subtracting the argument from the second. So in each one of these cases, this is going to come out to 5 pi over 3 minus 5 pi over 12. It's important to make sure you get the order on this correct or you're going to be in the wrong place. Okay. Now we need to actually go ahead and evaluate this. 5 pi over 3 minus 5 pi over 12. We want something we can actually use. I'm going to go ahead and give these the same denominator by multiplying the top and bottom on this one by 4. So this becomes 20 pi over 12 minus 5 pi over 12. That's 15 pi over 12. And then I can go ahead and divide both of these by 3 as a common factor. That is going to give me 5 pi over 4. All right, so let's pick up the thread. 24 divided by 8, no big deal there. That's just 3. On the inside, we now know what our argument is. This will be cosine of 5 pi over 4 plus I sine 5 pi over 4. In both of these cases, at 5 pi over 4, cosine and sine are the same value. They are both negative square root of 2 over 2. So this becomes 3 times negative square root of 2 over 2 plus negative square root of 2 over 2 I. And then we just need to distribute the 3 to both parts to call it done. This is going to be negative 3 square root of 2 over 2 plus negative 3 square root of 2 over 2 I. You can write this as minus square root of 3 times square root of 2 over 2i if you prefer. This is just a personal preference on how I like to go ahead and do it. Okay, so that's all we have to do for section 4.3. And again, it's fairly straightforward, but you want to make sure that you memorize the process. A product of two complex numbers is given by the product of their moduli and the sum of their arguments. A quotient, you're dealing with the quotient of their moduli and the difference of their arguments.